We're live. Yay. Okay, wait for the
bar to go through. Why is it still going?
Okay, for that.
Okay, hey!
Why is this
Hi.
still going?
What?
Oh, we're good. No, we're good.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Steve-O the Gamer, and you're watching One Side of the Coin. With me, as always,
Mac Tac.
and this is our weekly show about Genesis Battle of Champions. So tonight it's just Mac Tac and I. JC couldn't make it out. We were hoping that he can make it out. This discussion because it's pretty in depth, and he has a lot of knowledge about this. So it would have been awesome to have his help with us tonight. But anyway, he couldn't make it out. But we're gonna say hi to JC. We love you, buddy.
Hi, JC.
And yeah, we're just gonna hop into our discussion anyways, regardless. Yeah, two things we want to cover tonight in our topic. One is the first one is so recently I had watched a video of a training session, and they were teaching someone how to play, and then they were introducing the champions to be one specific style. So in Genesis Battle of Champions, 3 different styles of champions. So basically, there's the fighter, summoner, and the spellcaster. That's right, exactly. So and usually within the groups of champions, they have a specific style. So like one I'm going to use for example, right off the bat, Raha, she's always looked at as being a fighter. So it's like, does she really have to stay as a fighter, right? Can Raha succeed, say, as a summoner or a spellcaster, right? So we're going to go through some of the champions, or actually probably most of the champions, and look at different ways to actually get them out of what they are typically known for, right? So it's like, do they have to be? Can timelines be built around them to deviate from the status quo of the champions, right? So, and then later on, we're going to do a little bit of discussion about some like the theme decks, like our different styles of timelines for themes and tribals. So with the expansions coming up in the near future, potentially can tribal decks or theme style decks, which we've already seen in the game, but can tribal push through in this game, right? So. So yeah, a couple match shoutouts. Thank you to everybody over at Haunted Castle Games for giving us Battle of Champions. We love it. It gives us something to play and discuss. I love this game. I've been playing it ever since it came out. It came out in 2017. I've been playing since 2018 when it was introduced to me by Sid. But fell in love with the game. Absolutely love it. So mad shout out to the entire crew, all the game designers, the lore creators, the lore authors, I should say. Etc. So anybody you want to say hi to really quick? Mad shoutouts.
Oh, JC's here.
Hi, JC. Yeah, there he is.
Hello. Not that I can think of.
Let's say hi to Cam at home, my son Cam, who helped me create the Necrolich, as everybody probably already knows already. Say hi to Cam. So I miss you, buddy. Hopefully you're watching. And I think that's about it, really, for tonight.
Shout out to me for setting this up.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Matt, shout out to Colin and Richard, who are not here tonight. I gave them the night off, told them to stay at home. So Mac Tac has got us all set up here. Thanks to her. So, yeah, Matt, shout out to her. Right here next to me. Hey, that's mine. No, just kidding. Anyway, yeah, that's an inside joke. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, be sure to participate in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. You want any questions answered in regards to what we're discussing or anything for that matter for Genesis, be sure to drop us a note there. So yeah, so let's get into it. We're going to talk about so if you look at all the champions in Genesis, so they're all grouped more or less in 3s, right now anyway, until we see the future champions coming out in the future, in the new sets coming up, Origins, right? Super excited. And all the new color combinations. So, but basically, so for Axon Bellum, you got Raha, Nubia, Kun, and I'm not going to say their city names because, yeah, some of them are a little hard for me still, really. So Thymos Chaos, my favorite, Idris, Malik, and Odara. And then you got Bellum, Thymos, You have to read. You don't know this off by heart. You should.
Fong,
Come on.
Long, and Erica.
Erica, right. So, and then the last one, I know this one, Sawhorse, which is Axon and Chaos. And we have who for that?
Rain, Kendra, and Kuhn.
Okay,
no, Core. Sorry.
Oh! Yo, you messed up.
Never happened.
Core.
They both start with a K,
Just
all right?
broke my heart. Oh my god. Especially with you loving Rain so much, right? So you can't remember all of them. Anyway, so yeah, so if you take a look at each group, so basically it breaks it down to, so let's look at the one main one, because a lot of meta decks in the current game are from this group. So Raha, Nubia, and Kuhn. So Kuhn was brought to all the way through at this year's, or sorry, well, I should say last year, because we're in 2022. Last year's championship, Kuhn actually won it, playing more of a spellcaster style deck, which is basically what Kuhn is recognized for. What?
Kuhn won the championship?
Yeah.
I thought it was Nubia.
No.
Really?
Sid played Kuhn. Yeah. It was Kuhn versus Core.
Oh.
Yeah. Sid played Kuhn, and I'm drawing a complete blank, and I feel so sorry. Ruben, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Ruben. Oh my god, just a total brain fart there. It's like, what? I saw Core. That's all I saw was Core. Yeah. So I'm not saying that you look like Core, Ruben, but yeah, no, Ruben played Core. It was against Kuhn.
To answer your question in the chat, no, you haven't missed much. We just started a few minutes ago.
Who's asking?
Tiki
James.
Yeah.
No, you haven't missed much. So
basically just intro and talking about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
So yeah, we're discussing about our champions limited to what they were originally designed for, as far as the three different types of play styles. So like, as I had mentioned earlier, it's like Raha is geared more towards being a fighter. She's always been perceived as a fighter, but in Nubia as more of a summoner because of her high aura, and as you know personally, the angel deck, right, for Nubia, right, and then Kuhn, the spellcaster, right. So it's because of his momentum and his movability across the battlefield. Ugh, I can't even speak to him.
Yeah, because he has that one thing.
He has the dash. Yeah. So
man,
I mean, he can jump around, drop some spells down, in which we're going to get into a little bit later about theme decks. You're looking at the AoE deck, right? The area of effect.
He can jump in, play stuff, and then run away.
Yeah, potentially. So, but if you look at those three, it's like, are they limited to just doing that alone, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Raha, I took the 2019 championship. Like, I actually did play her as a fighter. A lot of techniques, using a lot of bull shots. And direct damage, right? So it's playing her as a fighter. It was expected, and that's more or less how she's perceived. But can Raha survive, say, as a summoner or a spellcaster? What do you think?
For Raha? For
Raha. So you got to look too. It's like her abilities. So Raha is she has that double forward awareness and straight across, right, for her for the 2 ranged attacks. So she's an archer, more or less, right? However, she has the 1 energy reduction, but she's only, I think, running 90 aura, right? I believe it. I think it's 90 aura. Yeah.
What's
remember
her,
correctly. Oh my god, I need to go back to school too. But she does, well, she has the choice of her attack. So she can either do, what's that? 95 aura. Thank you. She can either do 1 damage to everything in her awareness, or she can do 2 damage to anything, or to 1 target in her awareness, right? So, which makes her good for ranged attacks in being the fighter. However, like the 95 aura that she has, like, can it work as a summoner or a spellcaster? So,
what's her awareness?
So, like that.
And she's here.
Yeah. So this would be her here. So she has that straight across the front and then 1 forward. right there. But she has the ranged attack, so she can attack from a distance, right? So if something has like a lot of summons in front of her, she can hit them all with 1 damage, or she can do the 2, right? But it is ranged. But it's the 95 aura, right, that you're looking at. Can she put, like, she can't throw a whole ton of angels on the battlefield. Like her aura just isn't there, right? Unless you're playing a lot of aura surges, which potentially she could, because she has that 1 energy reduction, right? Aura surges cost 5 energy to play it, so she can play them for 4 energy and get 5 aura back to boost her energy back up. But technically it's not really enough to support a ton of angels on the battlefield. But you look at other summons, like what other summons can she potentially use to be an effective summoner? One comes to mind right away, right off the bat. Was that a hint? Was that a, yes, Necrolich. So Necrolich it is an 18 aura cost, but it gets you 2 summons on the field. All right. 100%
yeah,
can work.
He goes around hit for what, 3?
He does hit for 3 damage. Yeah. Has 3 health, and he can bring somebody onto the battlefield with him. So you can potentially still, he's Axon, which Raha has access to. So it's like you can swarm the board using Necro through Raha, which is also used in Kun as well. So I mean, I'm just trying to express a little bit of the versatility of each champion and not focus more on just one specific play style of them, right? So
just make sure we aren't missing anything.
What's that?
So just making sure we aren't missing anything. We're all good then.
Oh, Tiki James. That's Jeff. That's Jeff Gallagher. Hey, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Hello.
No doubt, because Billy's here in the store, so hanging out, listening to us. Well, he was. He's gone. He disappeared. Yeah, so, and then if we move on, so Nubia, like...
I got something to say.
Sure.
So looking at Raha, it's kind of like a hard decision, kind of like picking between the two, whether she's better as, like, say, a fighter or being the like the summoner, right? Because of her like range or area.
Yep.
Yeah. Awareness. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, we're batting 100 tonight.
With her awareness, it's like it would be good as a fighter, but with her aura,
yeah,
it's debatable, right? Because it's like she's got so little of it, and you would need a lot more for summons. But I mean, it could also work with, say, lower summons.
I think it boils down to making it very effective with how you play it and how you use your resources, right? So I mean, Raha as a swarm summoner, right, may not be that great depending on which summons you're using, right? So it would have to be very specific cases. Could she survive in the meta game as far as being a summoner? Maybe not. But it's she still does have a chance, and potentially she can be played that way. And it all depends on what we see in the future that could make her even better at those, right? So as far as a spellcaster, you look at a lot of the spells in the game which use a lot of aura, right? So outside of the techniques, which are more so for fighters, which use the energy, which she has that energy reduction, which is probably why she's more considered to be a fighter, right? Because of that reason and because of her ranged attack. But giving her those spells to play, such as, like, say, Sandstorm, Thunderstruck, or area effects, right? Or Tsunami even, right? Like, so I mean, you can use Tsunami, but probably you're not going to overrun your timeline with them, right? Unless you're looking for ease of draw, to be splashing them in there a little bit along with other spells that may not cost as much, right? As far as making her a spellcaster, it can work, right? So it's just all how you play it, how you use it, which is a lot what this game really focuses on, is the strategy, right? So it's how you actually play it when you get those draws too, right on top of it. but
Yeah.
just taking away a little bit of the focus on like the stereotypical part of each champion, right? So
Mhm.
so you go on like Kuhn as well, right? So Kuhn, because of his dash, his momentum in the game, like I've seen some hybrid decks built with Kuhn as well, thanks to Sid and Yan, part of our community. They've worked with Kuhn a lot. But I mean, to specifically focus him on being one style, right? Yeah, I mean, he can probably be a fighter or a summoner. Like he's very well rounded, I think, as far as out of the three champions within that group, right? I think he's probably more well rounded. Like a lot of people go for Nubia because of the double draw. It's very common, and she's stayed in the meta for such a long time. However, going through that timeline a little too quickly, right? So with her being a fighter, which could become even a bigger issue. So running Nubia, say with a ton of bull shots, which are used by fighters a lot, could really, really affect her timeline, right? So, but you could always play smaller ones, right? So you don't have to necessarily play a ton of bull shots. You hang on to those bull shots for that final kill when you need it. But some of the other ones, such as Wind Slash, could really make her as a fighter as well. But she does have a ton of aura, and it doesn't have to specifically be all straight like techniques. You can always no timeline is like, trust me, I've tried it, especially when we get to talking about Fong, having like a summonless timeline. Like I've been working on that for a long time with Fong. It's been, I would say, 75% successful, but not to where I want it to be as for the meta game. But so you're going to want to have, and one thing JC had told me too, and it's like when working on that timeline, it's like just having one or two summons, like even if you're playing as a fighter or a spellcaster, if you're running a straight AoE deck, having a few summons in the timeline doesn't necessarily make the timeline a summoner timeline. It's just helping it out a little bit, because you need to have a little bit of a turn advantage if you can get it. If you can't, at least it gives you something a little bit extra to work with to defeat your opponent. Moving on to the next group, so we got like Idris, Malik, and Odara, right? So one of these, we're not even gonna. I'm just gonna cross it right off the list. Yeah, because I really have no opinion on her whatsoever. Odara, I'm sorry, just never played her. Not unless you want to touch base on her. I got her down as being the summoner because of her that ability. Yeah, so you don't even remember what it is. So basically, she does 1 damage to them, and you take the exert token off, right? Tell me, Billy, what's that called? He's shaking his head. He doesn't even know either, right? In the background. Spur on, I think it's called, isn't it? Or something like that. However, yeah, so out of the group, she's more portrayed as being the summoner because of that ability, whereas Malik is the fighter because of his 4 damage, right? He's got that heavy, he's got to be up close, just start pounding on your opponent with that heavy attack. And he has a lot of life, so yeah, exactly. And then Idris is a spellcaster because Fireball. What else? Come on, help me out.
Hang on. No, don't tell me. We get the Fireball, and then there's the Meteorite.
Yeah, the Meteorite. Yeah, I knew that would help.
It was somewhere.
Meteorite. She's well known for using it. However,
we hope so too.
What's that?
Hey guys, hope all is well, and hope you guys can open fully again soon.
Yeah, so do I. 100%. All the other LGSs that are going through the same problem. It's like having the empty store all day long, right? Not having people coming in. It's very depressing, and it's hard to get through. But we're still open for retail, which is it's good. But yeah, anybody else that's any other retailer, I feel sorry for you, right? Because I know what the issue is and the problems that we're facing with it, but. We'll get through it, right? We have to. We've survived this long through it, right? So, but So back to Idris. So my favorite champion of all time, more or less. I played her from all styles, right? So I mean, I played her as a summoner, I played her as a spellcaster, and a fighter.
What do you think is the best for her? That you've
Mixture,
played?
more or less. I like her more so as a summoner, believe it or not. So I throw a lot of scorpions in there. Brooke, right? She's well known too for the actual blitz deck when we get into talking about theme decks. However, there's another little girl that took over that position. What are you doing?
Okay. I should post something on Facebook.
And so another little girl that took over the summoner or the blitz, right? But we'll get into her afterwards. And then, so yeah, can Malik be a summoner? And there's somebody that's watching tonight that does it very, very well. Malik.
Like, I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like Malik would be like good as either a fighter or a summoner, just because of both his or all of his like life, his aura, and then his attack, right, and how high of an attack he's got. So yeah, I feel like he would work as either of those two.
Yeah, but to give recognition to JC, who's taken Malik, like his timelines with Malik are really, really good, and he can play.
FTW.
What's that?
It's an FTW.
I have no idea. Oh, for your information.
No, that's
FYI.
FYI, not FTW.
Malik Summoner.
FTW. What does that mean?
Okay, there you go, JC. Mac Attack wants to know what FTW stands for. But yeah, he's
What's it mean?
what? Oh, for the win. For the win. There you go. Hey, Kev C, how you doing? Morning to you. It's nighttime here.
Morning for him?
He said good morning.
Oh.
See, morning, guys. So yeah, JC has built some amazing Malik summoner decks, right? So he's using like Ajna Tiger. The way that he uses Ajna Tiger is absolutely amazing, right? So, but he's also running like Baruch in there as well, or even the lower end summons like you're looking at the baboon. I'm just gonna say baboon because I always mess up that name. Gelada. Yeah, the Gelada baboon. So even the baboons, right? So I mean, like Malik can actually be run as a blitz deck, right? So as a summoner blitz, and then having the Ajna as well, which a lot of people have really, really recently recognized Ajna as because of the quick beckon, right? So it's got the blitz on top of it, so it's a jerk token comes off, but it can be summoned at swift speed, which makes this thing so good. However, the cost on it's really high, but I mean, Malik not having that much aura, it's really, really low, but he does have that 1 energy reduction, which does help on the Ajnas because they cost like 5 energy plus the 12 aura to play. Can become an issue, so you're not going to be like boom, 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 throwing like a ton of them down. But it's how you actually utilize it in the game. So it's like at the end of turn, you're in a position, drop an Ajna, that it can come in for an attack right then and there, right? So it's he's done an amazing job with it. So I mean, Malik doesn't always have to be played as a fighter either, right? So a lot of people think of it as that because he doesn't have that high of an aura, but it can be as long as it's used properly and played at the right things are played at the right time, right? And you also have to have that draw once again, right? So. So moving on to the next group, we're looking at Fong Long and Erica. So yeah, Erica came after Ray's, and she kind of changed a lot for this group, kind of thing. So
little youngin.
Well, it's not just that. It's I think it's because of her resources. So I mean, right off the bat, I looked at Erica and it's like, oh yeah, like. This little girl is going to do some damage, right? So and it's like,
doesn't she only have like 18 health?
it's her health is an issue, but with having the Thymos to back her up, so you got Healing Fire, right? For one, and then Bellum's side of it, you got Angel's Embrace, right? So lots of life gain between the two affiliations. Right away initially I thought it's not an issue, right? It's not an issue. In the late game, I say in the late game because right off the bat, if you're not getting that life gain, you're in trouble. You can be in trouble. So, and the one main focus, because I put her in the spellcaster slot, was because of there's one specific spell. No.
Nope.
Literally, I stop people from playing the game using this card. Can you remember?
That
Give you 5 seconds. Landslide. Yeah, there you go. Landslide. Yes. She has the aura to support it, right? Being a spellcaster. So basically, you're leaping up, you're dropping landslide, you're exerting them, doing damage, dropping a couple of summons or whatnot, or even the use of bolt shots, right? On top of it. Which makes her
wipe out your timeline so badly, but it's worth it.
What's that?
Bullshit.
Bull shots? Yeah, they can. They can. Depends on how you use them. Right?
Again, it's worth it.
It is worth it, 100%. So, I mean, having her, you're looking at other spells within those two affiliations that really support Erica in her high aura cost, right? But she has no energy reduction. So can Erica really be a fighter, right? So, like as you said, can she really use a ton of bull shots?
Mm-hmm.
Those heavy damage techniques.
How much aura does she have?
How much aura? 150.
No.
Yeah. She's the same as Nubia. She has the same amount of aura as Nubia. Come on, seriously. No, you never. I know you normally don't play Erica. Yeah.
Aurea. She has that much Aurea?
Aurea. No, she does have that much aura. So, yeah, having her as a summoner, not a problem. A lot of summons that are really high aura cost. So, like, you can run blitz with her, like having tons of Baroque. What's that? Scorpions. Yeah. Yeah. My Erica Scorpion deck, right? Shake your head. It's a fun deck. It is. It's not stupid. Seriously. Sorry. It's not my fault.
Or then you got Purifying Wave.
Yeah. Well, all three of them, right, can use Purifying Wave. And
I dislike that card very strongly.
Well, when it's used against you, yeah. So.
How is it? Yellow? No, I can't use it.
It's tribal. It's a tribal card.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's both Bellum and Thymos.
No, so I can't use it.
No, Nubia can't use it. That's why you have angels. You have your angels, but the counter to your angels is the Purifying Wave.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, it's so much fun. So much fun. So looking at Long as the summoner, so he has the cure, right? So I commonly refer to them because of the twins. You have the he has the cure. So basically he gives 2 life to a summon in front of him in his awareness, right? As his secondary. And Fong is the protector.
Never played him. Never.
Yeah. So that's why he's more or less slotted into the summoner's position, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because he can cure things in front of them, boost their health up a little bit, make them stronger. They go off and do the attack, right? So, and then Fong, who is the fighter, because she has that 2 energy reduction, which I love so much. Right, but she doesn't have a lot of aura. That's why I said at 90 earlier. She's the one only with 90 aura. So
doesn't she have like 22 health though?
Yeah, she's up there in the health. They both Fong and Long make up for what Erica lacks, right, as far as the health. But Fong, that 2 energy reduction, like I built a timeline and you faced it, like absolutely no summons in it whatsoever. It's just loaded full of techniques.
I face that one?
Yeah.
I
Pretty
don't
sure you
remember.
have.
Okay.
Anyway, I know
Yeah.
quite a few people in our community have played against it, right? So this is one of the timelines that I've been trying to get more into it. I've made so many adjustments to it, but who knows? We'll see what happens. But can she be, say, a spellcaster or a summoner, right? So, and this is the one thing that JC had suggested to me. It's like, why not throw maybe one or two Ajna in there? You're in La La Land, aren't you?
No.
What?
A little bit. I'm thinking, Sorry, continue. Just thinking.
What were you thinking about?
I don't know. I was just thinking.
Okay. It's weird. So
that's
can
bad.
Fong be a summoner? Yeah, look at the summons that are based around those two affiliations. Like, you're probably not going to be throwing like a ton of Brooks in there, because Brook is 15 aura to
Too
play
high
it.
cost.
It's too high cost,
for
right? So
sure.
you look at some of your smaller ones, like, can Fong survive, say, running like 10 baboons
How much do they cost?
with maybe a couple of what's that?
How much do they cost?
9.
7 or 9? Oh,
9 aura.
kind of close.
Yeah. So it can be done, right? So
I feel like it all depends on what you like put into the deck. Again, like having the lower summons in there, it could work. But I mean,
you put a bunch of tiny low cost summons in, low chi or whatnot, but you can still swarm the board. One, it gives you turn advantage, right?
Mhm.
If you're just swarm, I love swarm decks. Just because of that, the only thing that really defeats the major swarm decks are the AoEs, right? The area effect that they can just wipe out a ton of stuff. But the thing is, the good thing about swarm decks for summoners.
continue.
Oh, sorry. The good thing about summoners is that they. What are you writing? Oh yeah. Hey, good one. Yeah, we can definitely discuss that.
Yeah, just so you didn't have it on there.
The good thing about swarm decks is they can rebuild so
Mhm.
quickly, right? So it's like you're not wasting a ton of resources on summons, but they can still be effective as far as turn advantage and attacking. Spread them out, get them in there close. But if they do happen to get wiped out or terminated, you're drawing more, and because you have the resources to keep going with them, right? So, which is why I love it. Thinking I thought the stream was lagging and I missed your answers.
I think he means that I was thinking he thought the stream was lagging.
Oh, yeah. Haha, Mac attack. So yeah, and Long. Long as the summoner. Again, he doesn't have the energy reduction or the amount of aura to really flip outside of being a summoner. Well, I mean, he does have a decent amount of aura, but to put him in the fighter slot or the spellcaster slot, I don't know. I really can't elaborate too much on Long as far as those two other play styles. I haven't really experimented with it too much.
Mhm.
I've always played Long as a summoner straight up. So yeah, if anybody out there has played Long, and I know Sid really likes playing Long, but I think he more or less plays him as a summoner as well. But yeah, it would definitely be a challenge to see if Long can be built that way. So
Mhm. Yeah, again, I think it's all down to really like how much aura health, like aura and health they have. I think that has a really big
determining factor.
Yeah, I was gonna say impact, but yeah, determining factor on like what they're used as. Or if you're gonna use someone as a fighter, I feel looking at their attack and health more than their aura is good. Looking at a summoner, definitely health and aura, and then spellcaster aura. For
So
sure.
I think determining the play style one of the three for any specific champion. It's how you play the game as well too, right? So it's like if you're used to like, hey, I gotta have a ton of summons on the field, then yeah, you're gonna look at definitely building a summoner deck, or on the flip side, either the other two, whether it's a spellcaster or a fighter. However, you don't always have to focus on that specific champion to accommodate that play style, right? Mm-hmm. So you can choose variations, right? So you don't have to go for Fong. It's like, I want to build a fighter deck. Well, it's got to be Fong. If you're looking at building Axon Bellum, you can pick, say, Erica, right, or Long. Mm-hmm. And then looking at the last three.
Said something in the chat there. Long works best as a summoner primary and a fighter / caster
as a secondary. Yeah, which is what we're more so discussing. But I mean, primarily yes, but it doesn't have to necessarily be that way all the time, right? So it's
using Long as a fighter is difficult because his secondary ability won't help you. He doesn't have the energy reduction, but Bolt Shot is always a useful card with a winky face.
Yeah. For sure. So looking at, say, Kendra, Rain, and Core, right? So looking at, say, Ruben's core deck at the championship. Now, I faced this, and I couldn't beat it. Like, it was more of a hybrid, but I think slightly steering more towards the summoner side because of the desk companions that he was using, right? So yeah, but I mean, he had it splashed in with a bunch of other stuff. So I more or less would probably consider it to be like a hybrid style deck, more so than any one of the three main ones, right? So, but then you got Rain as the fighter because of she can teleport in and out, throw some damage, and then get out of there. And then Kendra, because of her high aura, right? She's playing the spells, right?
Rain just kind of jumps in, pokes you with their dagger, and books it.
But again, so I mean, like, you can. I've seen, especially like, well, grandma, your mom, or your grandma, my mom, building Kendra outside of the spellcaster, right? So playing like just a ton of summons with Kendra. Like, she has the low health, but she has that high aura to just swarm the board.
What has she got?
What's that?
What has she got?
She's 18. I think Kendra, she's 18 health, Rain's 19, or vice versa. Not a lot of health, but a ton of aura, right? So just summon a whole bunch of stuff, stay back, send the rest forward. Not even looking at the secondary ability of Kendra, right? Like, I know in most cases you want to try and utilize that second ability of each champion when you're playing it, but if you don't necessarily have to, right, to make the timeline successful, right? So a lot of times, like when I play the Fong, right, she has that cure, or sorry, not the cure, the protection, right? So it's, or the defense, she can prevent 1 point of damage done to anything, right, on the battlefield, including herself. I barely use it ever, right? And just focus more or less on her getting up there, boom, boom, throwing all that fighter damage in there, right? And just going from there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in a lot of cases, the secondary does help out the game, but it doesn't necessarily have to be focused on to build a specific timeline. So, you understand? Yeah. And then your favorite, Rain, again, right? Like, I mean, she has a considerable amount of aura, not a lot of health, but she can jump in, drop some summons, jump out, right? And then let the summons. Yeah. So she can be played, I think, as a summoner for the most part.
But because of her ability to just kind of jump in and out, the fighter.
She does do that 3 damage. Yeah, it does. So she does have that 3 dark damage in her awareness, which suits her more as a fighter, I think, than the other 2. But as again, it doesn't have to be limited to it, right? So with the amount of aura that she does have, jump in, throw down some area of effect or some spells, play her as a spellcaster. Like, she's very versatile, I think. but oversighted because of the low health again, right? So, and not having access to too much. Bye, Billy. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. See you later. Not having as much life gain out of those two affiliations, right? So, Chaos and Axon. And then again, Core, he eats things. He eats things to gain more resources. So you're kill something that's 1 health or less, you get to draw a card, right? So it's get. What's that?
Is there another R?
I don't know. There is, I think. You're right. Short form.
Yeah, there.
That's right. It's short form. So yeah, Core.
Eats the skeleton.
Well, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be skeletons. Can eat anything in front of them as long as
Something
it's
like
in
that.
this awareness. But it's giving you that draw ability, right? So adding to your hand. But he's again, I would say I would put him in there like Kuhn, which is probably why we saw those two facing each other at the championship. Like he's so well rounded, I think, as far as a champion. I haven't played too much of Core. I know my son Cam has. He's a huge fan of Core, but I don't know. Not really my
Cup of tea.
Yeah, my cup of tea for a champion. But yeah, Ruben definitely made him work, and it was really really cool to see that Core could be taken to that level, right? But
yeah,
again,
whenever sorry.
No, go ahead.
Whenever I see people play like the Core deck, I always see them with the Skeleton Warrior. So I thought that's what the only thing that he could eat.
I think typically
Skeleton
Skeleton Warriors were more or less created with him in mind. Well, they call it the bones, right? So you're summoning those three skeleton warriors around you, which gives you that that opportunity to gobble one of them up. You still have two left, right? But then you're also drawing that extra card, right? So that does exert you, but you're ready with something new, right? Fresh for the next round or in 4 responses, right? Or if you're looking for something specifically too, right? So it's definitely a really good ability. The fact that it does exert you, though, could be the downfall of it. Yeah. But well-rounded, I think he doesn't have to be specifically focused to be a summoner because of that. Like even if you're not really looking at that. So playing Epiphany, say with him, to not even have to use that second ability. However, Epiphany, the cost of it is so high, right? It's 8 chi to get it into the timeline. But it only costs 10 aura to play it, and then you're drawing 3 cards, right? So he doesn't have that extra draw like Nubia does. So therefore, you're not killing your timeline, right, as much. But I mean, that's a whole other story as far as likes and dislikes of Epiphany. But yeah, I think Core can be played any which way, or whether he's a summoner, fighter, or spellcaster. So, but yeah, so that's our opinion and what we're thinking about. So yeah, just keep in mind, it's like no matter which champion you're using, if you got a specific play style that you like to use, or even try it out, you want to experiment with it, you can always let us know. Follow back, give some feedback on that as well. Like if you've seen some really amazing timelines outside of what the champion is more or less intended for, let us know. Yeah, I'd love to hear from it. Yeah. So we're going to move on really quickly for a follow-up topic, tribal and theme decks. Woo! Yeah. So I mean, it's been touched upon before as far as different styles of time or of timelines. Yeah, so you got like your AoE, you got your Counter Strike, which I'm not sure if a lot of people know. It's something that I've been working with recently. So a lot of the summons in the game that have a counter attack. So if you do damage to it, it's going to do damage back, right? So building a whole timeline based around that would be creating a theme deck, more or less. You also have your well-known ones. You got your Blitz and one that Mac Attack just added. Sorry. The OTK, right? So I mean, the Rain OTK deck, you could probably consider it to be like a theme deck, right? And then on the flip side of that, you got tribals. So one thing that I'm super excited for, hopefully in the future, if we're going to see more for tribal. So basically everything's the same in your timeline. So you're looking at one that I had built a while back, monkeys, right? So like there's quite a few monkey summons in the game already. So building a timeline based around just having all those different monkey summons in it. Mind you, some are good, some are great, and some are just it's filler, right? It's like a filler. Does it even really need to be in there? Probably not. Is it effective? Actually, it didn't turn out too bad. I think my success rate on it is about 65 to 70% success rate winning with this timeline. So it's not too bad. But we also have other ones like rabbits. Like I don't know, there's not enough rabbits in the game yet, but it could be a thing because you got decoy rabbit, you got Raikou rabbit, lion mane rabbit. Yes, JC's with me. It's a meme.
How that deck would work.
Well, right now, right?
No,
But like if we see a lot of rabbits come in future sets, right? It could potentially could work, right?
Now,
so it's the card pool right now. It's not as big, but it's growing, right? So I mean, like, could we potentially see? So like I think right now tribal is not as my pen right now. Oh, there it goes. Tribal is not a thing as of yet, but it can be. I think it does have potential. It depends on the game or the game designers, right, and the card creators. If we're going to see more of tribal style summons, or even like spells or effects that are based around those specific summons, right? Like so, it's if we see like a common ground on all of, say, the monkeys, like they all start having like the same abilities or whatnot, maybe we'll have spells that'll be the same, right? That you could add into, say, a tribal style deck, right? Yeah. Who knows? It's hard to say right now. We have to wait for the future for stuff like that. But looking at more theme decks. So basically the themes are based around like even water or the elementals.
Speaking of water, for like the tribal decks, what if someone made like a fish deck?
A fish deck? Well, there's the water one, right? Yeah. So basically, and I think it's more or less when you start looking at water or air or earth, right? So now you're dabbling into the elements, right? Which would be an elemental theme deck, so to speak, right? So you're doing all holy damage, right, or all earth damage, etc., etc. So
or you have actual like elemental cards, like you have your air elemental, fire elemental, water elemental.
The actual elemental cards from
like alpha
and beta, yeah.
What else was there? Was there any other ones?
Yeah. Well, there was the air, the water, the fire, and the earth. Yeah. So there was one for each affiliation.
Sorry, Earth, I forgot about you.
Okay. So water obviously is
blue.
It's what? Blue. That's the color.
Water. Sun.
What's the affiliation?
Forget the name. Hang on. I'm thinking yellow. Axon. No. Yeah.
Axon is blue. You're right. It's Axon.
Is it?
Oh my god.
No.
Axon is blue, yes.
Oh, okay.
Which is, the water elemental. It's Axon.
Just say it like that. I thought it was right.
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cry now.
Please don't. Anyway.
So the air elemental is Bellum.
No.
Earth is Thymos, and fire is Chaos. So. Yeah. But so with the introductory, what?
There is unholy or dark damage, says Jeff, and then the Genesis account says this is turning into a pop quiz for Mac Attack.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. So yeah, when they came out, like, so we had all the pillars, right? So we started seeing the water pillar and all that. So which elevated the damage done around those elements. So it's trying to build specific theme style decks based around the elements, it can be done as well. Because if you look at some of the summons that do specific elemental damage, right? So like the water Mongul for one, right? Like he does 4 water damage. Like, so with a water pillar, he's now doing 5 water damage, right? If it's played properly, right?
I have a card that does like holy damage. I've seen a card used with Kun, I believe.
That does holy damage?
Probably all of them, but there's one specific one that I remember and I can't think of it.
the bull. I'm not going to pronounce it again.
No, we're not.
Because he does holy damage, right? So, which is, we mentioned on our last stream, 6G summons that are like really, really good, right? And he gets overlooked a lot. So yeah, he does holy damage. So playing him with say Long in a holy deck can be a thing too. So, so those are different styles of theme decks, right? So I mean, we played quite a few. Would like to see more in the future, like with Phage coming, and there's going to be electric, right? So electric's coming in, which adds another element to the battlefield.
And we get another pillar.
And we'll get another pillar, the electric pillar. Yeah. Yeah.
And then bug.
What?
Bug.
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 What bug?
Bug.
Bug.
Maybe bugs.
Maybe bug. So you and bugs.
Bug.
You're a bug.
Thank you.
You are a huge bug. So yeah, again, if you've created, like, I know that there was a competition. I'm pretty sure the competition's over now, but there's deck techs. So if you're creating different decks, you entered them in, and you could win a prize, right? So, but anybody that has anything different as far as different style of theme decks or tribal decks that they've come up or created, we'd love to hear about them as well. You can always reach out to us and let us know. We'd love to hear. So, yeah, so definitely hope to see more tribals. Definitely lots of theme decks out there, different play styles. However, it's like, do they fit into the meta game, right? So, which we have not seen, except, well, we have seen the OTK work, AOE as well in the meta game. Blitz is definitely in the meta game, but the newer ones like the elemental style decks, Counter-Strike, which is the one that I'm just calling it Counter-Strike because it's the name I gave it, but it's I know it keeps running out, right? Our pen doesn't work. It's garbage. Anyway, yeah, so we would love to see some different styles, right, built and see how those decks operate, right, and more or less challenge them to see if they could make it into the meta game, right?
Yeah.
So you have to build you some, and then you can battle against me, and I can lose horribly. That's a good one. What?
I can lose horribly.
I can lose horribly, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think that's about all we're really going to talk about. Oh, God.
So, Sid said I pronounce that as Nizu, if that helps.
Nizu, yeah.
Nizu.
Nizu, okay, as it's spelled, I guess.
Then, are you going to submit ideas to the deck tech submission contest?
Am I going to? I was told I was banned from it, so by Jeff. He doesn't want me to submit. Yeah, remember last week's show? Yeah, he had asked if I was banned from it. So from the deck tech, I would love to. I mean, like, so many timelines built over the past few years, so many different styles, and what's the word I'm looking for?
LOL, banned. Oh, he said you're not banned. You're not banned.
I'm drawing a blank again. Experimental decks, right? Experimental timelines, like building them over the years of playing Genesis. It's like, oh, hey, I want to try this out, or I want to try that out, right? So, I mean, you can witness or verify, right, how many timelines have I played, right? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous with how much I love the game, right? So it's
might as well bring out one of those like roll things that roll all the way down the street of how many
how many timelines I've built. Yeah, just I love experimenting with different play styles too.
Build
right?
it, tear it apart.
Yeah, tear it apart, build it
rebuild
again,
it, tear it apart again.
try it out. Like, well, my Fong deck right now for the summon list has no summons in it whatsoever. I must have rebuilt that timeline a good, like, I don't know, 60, 70 times now, right? Just play it out. It's doing great, and then I'll play it again, and then it just fails miserably. And it's like, okay, well, back to the drawing board. It's like how to get a balance, right, over in the timeline, which is why I stress so much practice all the time, play all the time, as much as you can, right? Every opportunity that I have to play Genesis, I grab it, right? So it's like being as busy as I can get, right? Sometimes it's difficult, but if it doesn't work, switch it around, like change your cheese a little bit, right? Like if you're running a lot of high-end cheese or you're running out of your timeline too much, it's like you to really break down the deck, spread it out. Okay, what's working, what's not working, right? So but yeah, no, it's as far as the theme decks, I'd love to see more of them, different creations, right? So it'll be interesting to see. So hopefully they'll have that up on the Genesis Battle of Champions website, www.genesisbattleofchampions.com. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. So I think all the information. What did I say it wrong again? No, okay. Be sure to check it out. It has all the information you need, how to play, the lore, even deck ideas too, right? So it's definitely a great site. Check it out. Geo is another one. If you're not part of the organized play, I'm probably going to cry again because we can't run anything right now, which I would love to become a part of it. So create a player profile. You can check out all the LGSs that are running organized play for Genesis Battle of Champions.
When the tables are set up.
I know all the tables. I'll start crying again. I want my community back in to start playing Genesis again. Love them so much. Twice a week we run it every Thursday night. Usually the place is decently full of players playing Genesis, just practicing. And then we run our organized play on Saturdays, but unfortunately right now because of the restrictions we can't. So plus amount of product, I can't really run any any sealed or drafts events. I'm waiting on the restock of J2. We're hoping to get that in shortly, so that once the restrictions are lifted, we can get back into doing some drafts and sealed events. Right? Woohoo! Love the drafting. But yeah, so if you haven't created a player profile, Geo, all the information should be on the Genesis Battle of Champions website as well. So check out Discord as well. So I'm on there as much as I possibly can. If you want to get into the judge program, you can. You want to partake in the Future League, you can. Right? There's so much that you can do and get involved in Genesis. Right?
I have Discord, but I'm never on it.
Never on Discord, yeah. Never on it. So, but definitely check those out and get involved. If your LGS doesn't carry Genesis or run Genesis, introduce it to them, get them involved. And yeah, we're always here. You want to reach out to us to help out or give advice, or you need questions answered, right? As far as Genesis, we're always here to help you as well. So we hope you enjoy the show tonight. If any ideas for future shows, reach out to us about that as well. So we're always coming up with new ideas and new things to discuss. And we love talking about Genesis. I love talking about Genesis. Do you love talking about Genesis? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As distracted as I may seem to get, like squirrel.
Well, yeah, squirrel. Yeah.
So
what's
fun.
that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the pen's over there. Yeah.
My pen's over there, yeah. Yeah, throwing pens. So reach out to us and we'll definitely. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoyed the show. So I'm Steve the Gamer, and this is
MacTac,
the Weird Kid.
Yep.
And thanks for watching One Side of the Coin. We'll see you next week.
Bye. I'll probably say bye, and then I'm still gonna hit this. They're just probably staring at us.